Let's talk about gut health, in particular, leaky gut. In this video, we're going to talk about what it is and, more importantly, how you can start feeling better. If you stick around to the end, I'm actually going to show you specifically the supplements that have so many research studies, and they have been the most effective on helping people heal their gut. So I'm Denise, and this is Spa Life TV, where we learn how to live a healthy life in a simple and fun way. And there's no better place to start than with your gut, because your gut is the central operating system of your body. When you heal your gut, everything else works better. Your hormones work better, your mental capacity is better, your ability to deal with stress is better, the pain in your joints is better. Everything is better when you focus on healing your gut. Now, I am going to give you the step-by-step on how to heal your gut. Okay, so here we go. So first of all, what is a gut? It's the tube from your mouth, your esophagus, your stomach, your small intestines, your large intestines, and then your anus and out. It's that long tube that food goes through, right? But we know that there's more to it. There's digestion. So oftentimes when we're talking about gut, we're not talking about just the tube. We're talking about the process of digestion, because that's what we feel. I mean, if we're not digesting well, we get bloated and we break out, or we get rash, or all of these things that have to do, or we get sleepy, so tired after eating food. Why is that happening? Because we're not digesting well. The gut is not intact, and the gut is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. You see, there's three really key areas to think about. Number one, it's the lining of the gut. Think of inside those tubes has a skin, but it's not skin like we see. There's like finger-like projection along the skin, so that when the food brushes by these little finger-like projections, like a shaggy carpet, when food brushes by it, then it's allowed to go past it and digest. Well, when those little finger-like projections get smashed or damaged from stress, pesticides, antibiotic use, chemicals, heavy metals, things like that hurt that villi, they're called villi, then it really interferes with our ability to digest well. And then we get something called leaky gut. And we get like thinning of this gut lining, because they're supposed to be tight. We call it a tight junction. And when that tight junction loses its binding, then it creates these little holes. So when you eat food that's supposed to digest, it's not digesting well. And there's still large protein molecules and large pieces that are supposed to be digested down, and they seep into your bloodstream. Voila, that is a leaky gut. And then you start eating things that you used to eat easily, and now it's causing problems. Why is that? Because it is getting through the gut lining and through these tight junctions, which it is not supposed to do. So when you think about healing your gut, this is what we're doing. We're doing three things. We're strengthening that gut lining. We're healing those tight junctions so that the skin, the integrity of the inside of the gut lining, is strong, and it can do what it's supposed to do. Let foods go in and guard from foods that are not supposed to go in. Okay, so the gut lining, number one. Number two, inside the gut, you have about 4 pounds of good bacteria. They play such a crucial role. And we need to replenish the good bacteria in our gut, because they are the ones who are responsible for making the brain chemicals, that the serotonin, the feel-good chemicals. They're involved in the melatonin to help you sleep. They're involved in, oh my goodness, all kinds of hormones and all kinds of components to your immune system. They're involved in managing inflammation. So we need to make sure they're diverse and robust, and we have a lot of good bacteria. And that bacteria has to be happy. And the only way they're happy is when we create an environment, which is the third area, when we create an environment in the gut where those little critters love to live. So we want to take care of our microbiome. Does that sound weird? Like we're focusing on feeding the bacteria in our gut, and yet it's so important. So we want to switch the way we think of bacteria. Not all bacteria is bad. There's good bacteria, which we're talking about. There's bad bacteria, the ones that make you sick. And then there's neutral bacteria, the ones that, like a crazy teenager who's okay until mom and dad leave the house, and then they cause problems. So we have those too. And we need a diverse variety of different kind of bacteria, like a community, like a village. That's what has to happen for you to have a healthy gut. So how do you do that? So I'm going to share a framework with you, and it's basically how I kind of walk through anything, whether I'm helping somebody heal from an illness or helping them heal their gut, or someone who just wants to get healthy, who just wants to lose weight. We always go through these 5 things. And the first one is food. What are you going to eat? How are you going to fuel your body? Because food is information and it's fuel. So what are you going to do to heal that gut? Okay, so when you're eating, consider it's going to take about 2 weeks. You can really heal your gut in 1 week, but we are considering 2 solid weeks because the gut lining is constantly replacing itself, just like our skin. So whatever you start doing today will affect your gut in a few days because the cells have rapid turnover in the gut, and which is so cool because it doesn't matter how much you've damaged your gut, you can always repair it. And it doesn't matter that, oh, you healed your gut and you're doing so well, and then you go on a cruise or something and eat like crazy, or you had an infection, you got an antibiotic and you destroyed your gut lining. It's repairable. Isn't that exciting? So we need to think about how we're going to eat. Number 1, for this time period, don't eat abrasive foods like raw vegetables. Has anyone ever told you that? Like when you're healing your gut, don't eat salads, don't eat raw vegetables for this time period. Imagine a leaky gut is like an open wound. Let's say you had an open wound on your knuckle. If you need to heal that open wound, you're not going to like scrape it. You're not going to go to the beach and let sand get in there, right? It's abrasive. You need that skin to be intact to eat those kind of foods. So you want to take a break from raw vegetables and choose more sauteed vegetables or soups. Think of chicken soup with vegetables. And in that chicken soup, you're going to have bone broth, collagen. Soups are great. You want to stay away from gluten for this time period. The gluten today is not the gluten that it used to be. It's way more processed and damaging to our gut. Maybe in other countries, they do gluten different and you can tolerate over there. So you're going to take a break from gluten. You're going to take a break from dairy because again, if it's an open wound, that can irritate it. So you're going to eat soft, bland foods that are already cooked. Protein shakes are great because it doesn't require your gut to do much digesting. It's kind of like already chewed up. Because remember, your stomach, it doesn't have teeth. So when you eat food, it has to utilize a lot of acid to break down that food, a lot of digestive enzymes. And that's good, but we just need to let it rest for a little bit. The other thing that you want to consider when it's about food is intermittent fasting. And before you're thinking like, oh no, I've tried that already, let me show you an easy way to do it. When you have your first meal, not the water that you maybe drank, but when you have your first meal of the day, from that point, you count 8 hours and just eat within that 8-hour window. Now, so I usually start with a protein shake in the morning and then I just count 8 hours and I just eat within that time frame. You want to eat a lot of proteins and a lot of cooked vegetables, and then intermittent fasting. And don't forget to drink plenty of water because your body's going to need a lot of water as it's healing and cleaning up and detoxing your body. Okay, so we talked about food. Pretty simple, right? It's not that complicated. When you eat highly processed foods, fried foods, sugary foods, highly genetically modified pesticide foods, it's hard on your gut. If you do that while you're healing it, it's just going to take longer because every time you do that, it's like you're healing this wound on your knuckle and you just keep bending it. You just keep pouring salt on it. Takes a little bit longer, right? Okay, so that's food. The second one is fitness. Now remember, I run this framework with everybody and everything that I do. I always run this framework. Now fitness, on the other hand, we're actually not going to do a lot of fitness. If you already work out for these 2 weeks, go ahead and continue. Just slow it down a little. Don't put so much pressure because fitness, exercise, intense exercise in particular, can really cause a lot of cortisol. It raises your cortisol. We're just going to keep that at a minimum right now as we're healing our gut lining. So we're going to low-key exercises like walking or Pilates or yoga, things that are more relaxing, maybe dancing. But I think the best thing you can do is just make sure you're walking every day because it gets you outside, you're grounding with the earth, and you're breathing some fresh air. So it has so many more powerful benefits. Okay, so that's fitness. The third one is sleep. Now, when you go to sleep, that is when all that bacteria really goes to work. That's when it's going to go in and start healing the gut lining. It's going to digest your food that's left over. It's going to clean house when you're sleeping. So important because there's some bacteria that do things when you're asleep, and then there's some bacteria that work for digestion, and then there's some bacteria that work when you're awake. They all have their jobs. But when you're sleeping, that's when a lot of the activity happens and your bacteria is allowed to do what it's supposed to do, clean house and repair. So sleep is really, really important. And then the third one is, or the fourth one is stress management. I know, everyone says don't stress. Well, I'm not going to say don't stress because that would be like, don't breathe. Stress is everywhere. That's how our body functions, right? It's like we're never going to get away from stress. When you work out, that's a little bit of stress. I would ask you, do a cold plunge. That's a little bit of stress on your body. When I say, do a sauna, that's a little bit of stress on your body because you're training your body to become resilient to stress. That's the goal. Not that we can get stress out of our body or out of our life, but how can you become resilient to stress? In other words, stress comes in your path, you process it, you choose how you want to respond, and then you let it go. That's the true cycle of stress. If you find yourself in a stressful episode, simply recognize it, walk outside, ideally take off your shoes, walk on some dirt, some concrete or sand or grass so you can ground with the earth, and that will instantly put you back in a healing state. And if you can't do that and you're stuck someplace where you can't, let's say you're in traffic, what do? Place your hand on your heart, take a deep breath in, and exhale nice and slow, because when you're exhaling slow out, that's going to drop you into that same healing state. And that's the state you need to be in. The healing state is the state that the bacteria love and thrive in. That's when your chemicals in your body are calming down. Inflammation is calming down. I call that state the spa life. That's how we want our life to be. And that's what this whole channel is about, to teach you how to become resilient to stress. Because we're not getting away from stress. But how can you process it through? How can you live in a state where you can feel the stress, deal with it, and let it go? That's the spa life way. Okay, so we talked about stress. And then the final one, which is probably why you stuck around, because supplements are powerhouses, Some people say, oh, you don't need supplements. Well, that's not true. In this day and age, in this world, what we're exposed to on a regular basis, from technology to EMFs to stuff, and our water and our foods and our air, whatever, we need supplements because we're not getting it in our soil. And but these supplements are extra special because they're pretty powerful at healing the gut. My favorite brand is called Microbiome Labs. Now, this is a practitioner supplement, so you can get it directly from a practitioner who can get it from Microbiome Labs, or you can get it from Full Scripts, which I have a link down below, and you can get these supplements, no problem. All right, the first one is Mega Mucosa. Now, some people like to use L-glutamine to help heal that lining, make it more intact, which is great. I used L-glutamine for many, many years, but I didn't see as dramatic changes as I did with this Mega Mucosa. And I've used it on many people, and they've had tremendous results with Mega Mucosa. So it's just powder. It's 1 scoop every day. I love the taste, and hopefully you do too. So you want to do 1 scoop a day, and this is powerful. I've been taking this for years. So amazing. Okay, that's Mega Mucosa. The second one is IgG 2000. It's Mega IgG 2000 from Microbiome Labs. This is amazing. It's a powder. It helps lower the inflammation in your gut. Yeah. So such good stuff. And this one is 1 scoop a day, Mega Mucosa. Mega IgG 2000 is really 1 scoop a day, but you could do more. So make sure you are using it and get the results that you want to get from it. So this one has no flavor to it. Pretty awesome. And then the third item is Mega Spore Biotics. Here's what's unique about this probiotic. It is wrapped in a spore. Yeah, because most of the bacteria that you take, most of the probiotic that you take dies off in the stomach because your stomach has acid, a lot of acid, and it's supposed to. Because when you eat food, a lot of food has bacteria in it and parasites. When you eat food and it gets into your stomach, the acid in your stomach is responsible for killing those organisms that your body doesn't want you to have, right? That is dangerous. That's why you have the acid. So we need the acid in there. The problem is when you're taking probiotic supplements, it doesn't even make it to the large intestines where it has to go because it dies off in the stomach. This one is wrapped in a spore so that it can get through the stomach and then eventually into the large intestines where it's supposed to live. So there are multiple research studies on this particular probiotic, and it's very, very powerful. If you want to do like 1 a day, make sure you feel good, see how you're doing on 1 per day, and then slowly add another one until you get to about 3. So those are probiotics. Now, I don't have my Mega Pre, so this is another Mega Mucosa, but it looks the same. It just says Mega Prebiotic, and it is responsible for nourishing and feeding your probiotics or your good bacteria in your gut. So this is important because remember, you need a diverse bacteria in your gut. So Mega Pre helps feed them and keep them happy. Mega Pre comes in powder, or you can get it in capsule. I take them in capsule just because I take so many powders, and I like the Mega Pre in capsules, but you have to take a lot. So you probably will benefit from taking it in powder. Mega Mucosa also you take in capsules, but then you'd have to take a lot. So I do it in powder because I imagine that the coating as it goes in is great for for the gut lining. Okay, you still with me? I know this is a lot, but let's keep going. I only have 1 more supplement to go, and this is really important. As we're healing our gut and forever, you want to consider having a digestive enzyme with your meal. That way, when you eat that food, the enzymes in the supplement will start digesting the food, will help you digest the food. So you're not so dependent on your own body creating the enzymes because, well, your gut needs help, right? So that's why you take these enzymes. You can do a broad spectrum digestive enzyme, which you can find on FullScript. If you click the link to FullScript, and then just type in enzymes, you'll see a whole bunch there, and you can pick one. Now, there is a special kind of enzyme that's really important. Now, some of you will have a very sensitive gut, and you may not like it at first because you have a very damaged gut. But once you start healing this gut, then you bring in this other enzyme, and it is betaine hydrochloric acid. Maybe you've heard of it. It's basically hydrochloric acid for your stomach. And it's really important that you replenish the acid in your stomach. A lot of people think that the heartburn or things that heartburn is related to too much acid in your stomach. It's actually the opposite. It's not having enough hydrochloric acid in your stomach. So this is so great if you can tolerate it, taking 1 hydrochloric acid with your meals. So that's it. That's the supplement protocol for healing your gut. Pretty simple, right? Now, these are powerful supplements. Here's the thing. If you do this, you should be feeling better within a week and a half. If you follow the steps that I've given you on this video, you should be feeling better in a week and a half. Now, there's other circumstances, right? Like stress, things like that. But when you heal your gut and start feeling better, just remember, the gut is like skin. You might heal it, but then if you keep irritating it, you keep wounding it, then you're going to have to heal it again. So the one thing good about these supplements is you can do them forever and they will continue to have their benefit. So that was my video on how to heal your gut in a pretty simple and fun and effective way. Now there is a link below to full script. You go ahead and get these there and they are going to work wonders on healing your gut.